Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing really well. So today I wanted to share with you some beautiful perennials I picked up for my terrace wall and plant those up with you. And I've just been busy in my garden over the last week, slowly but surely cleaning up all my flower borders for spring. I still have quite a bit of work left to do, but I want to share some exciting bits with you as this week unfolds. But for now, let's take a look at the perennials that I picked up. So this week I stopped at Judy's Enchanted Garden in Spokane, Washington, where I live, and I picked up some beautiful things for my rock wall, as well as some more of my favorite souvenir Deandre Chaudron Nepeta, which gets lovely and tall. It gets about 3 feet tall. It's one of the tallest Nepetas I've seen, with beautiful long trumpet flowers. And I am going to be planting this actually mostly in the prairie border, and she actually has more of this for me to pick up. Between myself and my mom and my sister, we grabbed a bunch of it because it is a firm favorite. But then I also, for the wall, I picked up these gorgeous, I just thought, wow, I love anemones. If you have watched any of my previous videos, you know how much I love Japanese anemones. I love ground cover anemones. They are just such a beautiful, hardy plant, and I love that they spread themselves around. So Robinson's is, here are the stats on the back. They grow a height of 6 inches, 12 inches wide. They will handle part shade to shade. They are zone 5, so negative down to negative 20, and they bloom in spring. They are drought tolerant, so that is, and they also tolerate moist soil, so they work well for this area. I'm going to be underplanting them in a space where they will get a little bit more shade. This garden down here is it is east facing, it's southeast, so it gets south sunshine and east sunshine, but there are areas where I can pop it into where it will get a little bit more cover, and I think it will do okay. We'll just see. But I couldn't pass this one up, and if it seems at all like it's gonna struggle and it's too sunny over here on the rock wall, I'll put it somewhere over in this more woodland area over here that gets a lot more shade between these two cedar trees and the woods behind. So then I have this gorgeous Veronica Georgia Blue, which is hardy down to, negative 10, and it grows 6 to 9 inches high, and you're supposed to space them 18 inches apart. It is a spring bloomer as well. And then I had for the wall itself just some different types of thyme. Woolly thyme, silver posy thyme, which has more of this, a little bit of a variegation to the leaf, and these nice burgundy red stems. So that's really, thought that was really pretty. And then just the very typical Thymus major, the kind of red creeping thyme that we are all used to, very hardy down to negative 30. They're drought tolerant, they're perfect for rock gardens. All of these hardy down to negative 30, or sorry, this one's negative 20, but very, very hardy. And then a beautiful Alpine plant here. This is Alpine wall cress. These are all deer tolerant, or deer resistant plants, excuse me. And this is hardy down to zone 5, so negative 20. It grows 6 to 12 inches high, 8 to 12 inches wide. It has low water needs, hence it's an alpine plant. Lovely purple lavender blooms, kind of similar to, so it looks like a wallflower, so I wonder if they are related. And then I have just a little blue shades anemone to spread around, and then sweet rocket. Now I grow sweet rocket from seed every year, but she had some, so I picked up 3 of these just to see what color they end up being. So the one that I have from Floret Seed is the beautiful pale lavender. This says on the back, it said lavender to purple. And I don't love the purple ones as much, but I just kind of wanted to see what that would end up being. And these also say, so they are deer resistant. They do grow well here in my area. They do say part shade to shade. However, I had them planted in full sun last year and they did great for me. So I'm just gonna plant a few of them on this wall and see how they do. But yeah, let's get going. So I probably am going to go pick up either this weekend or next week. We are expecting a few nights coming up with temperatures down to 28 degrees Fahrenheit. So very, very cold. And I don't want to go too crazy with planting right now, although I'm sure these will be fine because they are so hardy. They're better off in the ground than just sitting in nursery containers in my yard. So, but I want to go pick up a full flat of different types of creeping thyme, mix them around, and plant up this whole wall with those and a few other things. But I'm just still playing with it. I didn't want to get it all done right now. But my daughters were with me when we were shopping and they really wanted to pick up some thyme. So I let them pick these out and we're going to get these planted up. So what I have is this little trowel from Cutco actually. Picked that up with a knife order from a friend of ours. And then I have some rose tone in the bucket. I normally plant with biotone when I'm starting new plants in the ground, but I ran out and I've got a bunch of rose tone right now as I've been fertilizing my roses for the spring, and that will work just fine. It still has the mycorrhiza powder in it, and it should work great for what I need it to do today. Okay, so as you can see here, I planted the Robinson's Wood anemones along the stairs because they will get a little bit more shade and protection over here. And I just love, as you walk up the stairs and you pass up different levels, you see these dainty little flowers that you might normally miss, but they kind of become closer to your eye level as you're walking up the stairs. And I just think they're so pretty, and I hope that they're supposed to spread about 12 inches wide. So I'm hoping that they kind of form a nice little clump here and even spread themselves around. We are going to be working on removing all the grass from this hillside as we put drip here and mulch, but I do have lots and lots of bulbs I planted here that are going to be coming through. And someone had thought maybe these were gopher holes on the hillside. They're not. They're actually left over from, we used a big auger, our big auger on this hillside, and when we filled back in the holes, they still settled and left these large divots. So we don't have gophers. We do have moles though, but you can see here, like, here's some daffodils coming through, more daffodils. So I've debated whether or not, and here's some tulips coming through. So there's lots of bulbs that hopefully they will all come through. We'll see how they do. You can see in all these little holes, yeah, more daffodils here, more daffodils. I'm debating whether or not to leave this like a woodland and leave the grass and have woodland bulbs and plants through here, so it'll eventually be filled in and keep the grass that's here long. But I'm just experimenting for now and seeing what sticks and what I like. But it is going to be a little bit difficult at first if we do go with the route of removing all the grass, because we'll have to scrape all that off, watching out for the bulbs, and I'll have to put down some kind of, I'll probably do cardboard to keep that grass from growing back, wet it down, and then top with a bunch of mulch. But anyway, so I've planted the creeping thymes in several places along the wall. I have the sweet rocket here in a little trio, the wood anemone in blue shades here. I will probably pick up more of these. I have some of them in containers, if you remember, from my spring containers, and I'm going to take those out when that spring display is done and pop them in. So it won't just be a single, there'll be a few over here. And then I have the woolly thyme planted in the wall with the Veronica. And then I have the Alpine plants and more Veronica here, as well as that variegated thyme in the wall down below. And then lastly, I just popped in the last Veronica Georgian blue over in this area, and I want it to kind of just grow in and start spilling over the wall. So again, it doesn't look like there's a lot here, but it is very full, and it'll just continue to fill in. I do, like I said in the past, want to weed out and fill in every nook and cranny I can with creeping thyme and other rockery plants that will soften all this heavy, hard granite, which I love the walls, don't get me wrong. I just don't want it to look so imposing. I just want it to feel soft and cottagey and warm. So I've been slowly moving around the garden, weeding everything, fertilizing everything, getting things prepped for the season, and this is going to be my next border that I'm going to be weeding. Since I showed you over here last, most of these Casada Daffodils have opened up and are looking just beautiful. We had 2 or 3, actually 3, major windstorms and windy days here in the last week. So there's, even after I've cleaned up the yard, there's debris everywhere, branches everywhere, pine cones everywhere. So I'm going to be weeding this bed this weekend, getting all the pine cones out of here, getting everything fertilized. I'm going to be removing that the dogwood tree that the deer destroyed, and weeding over in this back area as well, because this was all topsoil that got brought in and garden mix. And typically when you bring in soil like that, there's a fresh crop of weeds from that soil that's going to creep up in the next season. And here we are. These are just pretty run-of-the-mill annual weeds. So I'm going to be coming through now that it's early spring and with a little hoe and just weed all of these things out of here. Get this all cleaned up so the mulch looks fresh. And I'm starting to see sweet peas popping out of the soil around my teepees. I got to hook up the drip system this week, but spring is happening. So in the last video, I weeded and fertilized the backside of the border, and then a couple of days ago, in between windstorms, I went ahead and tackled the rest of this side bed. Got it mostly all weeded and cut back. And now I just need to edge the border around here and mulch everything. I picked up a gas-powered lawn edging tool because I have so many borders now that we are edging them all by hand is a huge job, and our soil is very, very, very hard pan soil. So I'm trying to make things easier on myself and investing in some tools that are going to be helping me with the longevity of the garden, since I do everything by myself. So I will be showing you guys that tool when I pick it up and letting you know how I like it. It's something that, of course, it's not a sponsored content at all. It's something I bought with my own money, and I will give you my full and honest review. That's it for me today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing me planting up my terrace and a little bit more of my stairwell. I hope this inspires you in some small way to get out into your garden space and enjoy nature today. Happy gardening.